Welcome to the Transform Your Mind, Transform Your Life radio show and podcast. I'm your host, life coach Myrna Young, and today I am speaking to Ariel Garten, psychotherapist and founder of Muse. And we are going to be talking about how to use Muse-guided meditations to reduce stress. So welcome, Ariel. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazingly. How are you doing, Myrna?
I'm doing excellent. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I am a meditator. So I am going to be learning today as much from you as our audience. So that's awesome. All right, let me tell you a little bit more about Ariel. Ariel Garten is probably the most interesting people you will meet. She is a psychotherapist, neuroscientist, mom, former fashion designer, and the female founder and visionary of an amazing and highly successful tech startup, Muse. Muse track your brain during meditation to give you real-time feedback on your meditation, guiding you into the zone and solving the problem that most of us have when starting a meditation practice. Muse lets you know when you're doing it right. When Ariel is not reading brains, literally, or investing in or inspiring and advising other startups and women in business, you can find her on the stages across the world, from TED to MIT to SXSW. Never heard of that one. She inspires people to understand that they can accomplish anything they want by learning what goes on in their own mind. Very true. Ariel is also the co-host of the Untangle podcast. Very nice. So you're no stranger to the podcast and the interview world, so that's awesome. All right. Well, Ariel, before I get into the nitty-gritty of our conversation today, I always like to give the audience, some opportunity to know about you and, to set the stage for your topic today. So my first question is, how did your work in psychotherapy and neuroscience lead you to becoming the founder of Muse? What's your story?
My story's a really varied one. I was always interested in everything and how the world worked and how we worked. So I went to school for neuroscience so that I could learn more about the brain and physically how the structure of our brain creates our experience of life. How, movements of chemicals across our synapses create the experience of being happy, of feeling connected to one another. And then in order to practically apply that, I became trained as a psychotherapist. And so in psychotherapy, I'd be working one-on-one with people to help them understand the narratives that were in their mind, the stories that are in their head that, shape their existence, and help them shift those narratives and stories so that they could be more comfortable with the life that they're living and the person that they perceive that they are. And while doing that, I became really fascinated by brainwaves. So brainwaves are like the electrical energy that comes off your head. It's real information from your brain. And I began working with a professor at the University of Toronto. I'm based in Toronto. And we began to use an early EEG system. EEG are the sensors that detect your brainwaves. We began to use an early EEG system to start to listen to people's brain activity and to create feedback loops. So we could literally make sounds from the energy coming off of people's heads. This is not a weird or woo-woo thing. This is research at the University of Toronto using clinical-grade EEG systems. And we were actually creating musical experiences where as you shifted your brain state from focus to relax, we could actually change the sound that you were hearing. And I stood back and said, stood back and said, like, oh my God, we can literally hear what's going on in somebody's mind. We can literally hear the difference in brain state. We can hear when you're focused and when you're relaxed. And so I stood back and started to recognize that we could actually create a company around this technology and use this for human good. and I got together with my co-founders, Chris and Trevor, two friends of mine, one who's an amazing electrical engineer, the other who's an amazing business person. And the three of us set off to bring this technology to the world. And through my work in psychotherapy, I would be teaching people to meditate as one of the tools to help transform their mind. And we all know that meditation is incredibly hard to do. And as a psychotherapist, I sucked at meditation. I'd teach it to my patients. They'd go home and try to do it. I would go home and try to do it, and my brain would bounce all over the place and be frustrated. And I
so
recognized
you've got an active brain, huh?
Very active brain. In case the whole story wasn't obvious, like I have a very it thinks a lot.
Yeah,
trying to come up with solutions for everything.
Wow. Right. Okay.
And so then we went back to this technology that we were working with that could show you when you're focused and when you're relaxed. And we recognized that what we were really doing is showing people their brain state. And we could actually apply this to the problem of how do you meditate more effectively. Because when you meditate, you feel like you don't know what's going on in your mind and you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and it's hard to know when you're in that state of focus. And so we started to create this amazing device called Muse, which gives you real-time feedback on your brain while you meditate. And it actually works. We started to use it initially with meditators and then novices, and now it's used by Mayo Clinic and people all over the world. And thus I'm now the co-founder of an incredibly successful tech startup that helps you manage what goes on in your mind.
Yeah, that's amazing. Everybody has cookies right now. So, when I was researching and looking at your website, I went on to look at it, and now I get all your ads on Facebook. so I've learned a little bit about the program, and I've went through it, and it looks really good. And it's obviously an excellent product, especially. So does it help you when you use the technology to quiet your brain in order for you to not bounce around? Does it work?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the problem with meditation is you sit there and your brain bounces all over the place. It was the thing that was so frustrating to me because I felt like I couldn't meditate. I'd sit there, my brain would bounce around. I'd get so frustrated. It's like, I'm bad at this. And then you just feel bad about meditating.
Right.
And then it really doesn't work. And so what Muse lets you do is it lets you know when you're focused and when your mind has wandered, and it gives you audio feedback. So you're actually hearing your brain state, and it's helping you guide yourself back into that state of focus and reinforcing you for being there. It's basically biofeedback.
Nice. It's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah, because normally it depends on the state that I'm in when I meditate. There's certain times so that I can sit there and just concentrate on my breathing, and I will be doing it. And then the next time, I've got all these thoughts that are bouncing around. And of course, they tell you that, when you recognize that you're no longer concentrating on your breathing or what you're, whatever you're scanning your body or something, then just bring it back. But it sounds like your product, Muse, is not going to let you wander off for half an hour before you remember to come back. There is something that allows you to know that you're not on focus and brings you back. So that is amazing. And that means that, you'll be able to get a lot more out of the meditative state because because meditation is definitely focus on your breathing or whether you're focused on your sensations or anything like that in your body. So that's awesome. So before we go too deeply into that, for the listening audience that doesn't know what meditation is, let's get back to the basics. So if you can tell us what is meditation, how does it work, how do you do it, and what are the benefits? For somebody that's new to this. Yes, okay.
Totally, and I mean, most people are still new to it. Even if you think you know what meditation is, it's not always the clearest.
Okay.
So meditation is not a weird or woo-woo thing. Meditation is simply a practice or a training that leads to healthy and positive mind states. So it's an exercise that you do regularly that leads to improvements in your mind and your brain. And the most common form of meditation that most people do first is a focused attention meditation. And so you might hear different forms of meditation, and they all have a lot of similarities at their basics, and focused attention will sort of describe the basic kind of meditation you do. So the one you described was focused attention. You focus your attention on your breath or a part of your body. Eventually your mind wanders away from the thing that you're paying attention to onto a thought or a distraction, and it's then your job to notice that your mind has wandered and come back to your breath.
Right.
And so it is incredibly simple. You're putting your attention on your breath, your mind wanders, you realize your mind has wandered, and instead of following your wandering mind, you choose to come back to your breath. Now, this exercise might seem like, okay, what's the point? You're just focusing on your breath and returning to your breath, big deal. Well, when you do this really simple exercise, some pretty profound things happen. So most of us just kind of go through the world on autopilot. We just go through the world with a bunch of thoughts in our head, and we assume we're supposed to be thinking them. We're thinking about, our brother that's not feeling well, or the groceries that we're supposed to get, or with the thing in front of us that we don't really care about. Our minds just think, and that's just what happens. As soon as you engage this exercise and you put your attention on your breath, your mind wanders into one of those thoughts, and you choose to say, I don't want to follow this wandering thought. I want to take my mind and put it elsewhere. All of a sudden, you have changed the relationship to your thoughts. And that is huge. You're no longer just subject to the thoughts that are in your head. You can actually have control over it. You can have dominion over your own mind. And every time you do this, you get better and better at saying, hey, I don't want to follow that thought. I want to come back to something else. I want to take my mind elsewhere. And a lot of the thoughts that we have are negative, frustrating, and repetitive. So instead of just following those negative, frustrating, repetitive thoughts and assuming that's what happens, we can now observe them, say, hey, no, I don't like that thought. I don't want to go there, and choose to come back to somewhere else. It's unbelievably powerful.
Wow. Nice. Okay, so that is, what is meditation? How does it work? How do you do it? And, of course, the benefits. Yes, so you covered them all.
We can go into the benefits a little bit further. So that's like the simple course of the exercise. You take your mind off your wandering thought. You come back into your breath. The benefits are then that you don't end up going down the stressful stream of thoughts. So there's this tight relationship between our mind and our body. We have a stressful thought, and then our body responds with a stress response. Your heart starts to increase, you get a little sweaty, and then our mind assumes that we're supposed to have felt this way. If there's something stressful happening, okay, so it generates more stressful thoughts, which then generate more stressful feelings in our body, which generate more stressful thoughts. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you're ramped up. So meditation allows you to ramp down. It breaks the connection between the mind and body when it's not helpful for you. So you can say, hey, I don't want the stressful thought. And you're then taking deep breaths, which is actually telling your body to relax. So you're now actively managing your own physiology. You're breathing deeply. You're slowing your heart rate. You're slowing your body down. You're letting go of those negative thoughts. You're slowing your body down. And you're coming into the present. Because most of us spend most of the time in our heads. And it turns out a study from Harvard says that when your mind is wandering and you're thinking about something other than the present moment, it actually makes you unhappy. So you end up being in the present moment, where you are calm, clear, you're not in your thoughts or worries about the past and the future. You realize you're able to actually shift what goes on in the mind. You're able to shift your mood, and that results in incredible benefits. You now, improves your relationships because you're not reacting, violently or frustratingly to the things around you. You can now observe your thoughts and your feelings without getting caught up in them. It improves your work life because you're not stressed about work. You're not feeling frustrated in the same way, and you can deal with your thoughts and feelings effectively. It actually improves your health potentially because stress is not good for your body. And so, there's literally over 1,000 published studies demonstrating the benefits of meditation and its impact in your mind, your body, to improve your GRE scores, improve your working memory, decrease your stress, improve your attention, and on and on and on.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Deepak Chopra a little later on, but he's the one that introduced me to meditation maybe 10, 15 years ago. And, I have been a meditator for a while, and there's a significant difference in everything about me because of meditation. One of the things that, you mentioned is my ability to not get riled up over things. I have a quieter response. And that's because one of the things that meditation does for you is that it keeps you in the relaxed. You mentioned it, instead of the fight or flight, it gives you into the relaxed response. So I'm in that relaxed response. So I'm not as for instance, I was my sister. Since she was very little, we always had this thing where I would say something and she will react and she'll be snapping the slightest little thing. And a couple of days ago, she's now 55, right? And a couple of days ago, she's doing the same thing. And I said to her, you know what, you need to grow up. You're no longer in PMS. But that's why, because again, she is, she hasn't, that's just an example. Someone that's just snapping, at the slightest little irritation, she's not there. And me, on the other hand, I'm like, chilled, right? And I'm not even reacting to her reaction. You know what I mean?
Whoa, that's mature. Meditation is working.
I know, right? I'm not even reacting because. Yeah. Exactly, because that's normally how things happen. Somebody reacts to you, and then you react to them, and you talk about marriage. That's how it works. But
true enough, yes.
Right. But the other thing I want to mention is that you mentioned the meditation helps your health, and I've got a personal story where I had incredible pains, like level 10 pain. And, in my hip, they said it was arthritis or whatever it was, but I'm not sure what it was. But when I had this pain, they said that whenever you have pain, you just breathe into it. And I will tell you that I've breathed into that pain and got rid of it. So I can actually heal myself, too, just by breathing into it. So I think isn't that amazing? Yeah, I can do that.
You went from level 10 pain to completely gone?
Right, completely gone. Just by breathing into it.
That's amazing. I mean,
yes.
There's
what's the neuroscience behind that?
Yeah.
What's the neuroscience behind that?
It's a great question. So there's a ton of studies that demonstrate meditation's potential to improve pain. One study that shows that a novice meditator over a short-term learning meditation can reduce their pain by 50%. Expert meditators have been shown to be able to reduce their pain levels by 90%. When we think about what might be the quote-unquote neuroscience behind it, there is a connection between your mind and body, as we all know. And so as you choose to confront something that is difficult for you, as you choose to confront a place where you have pain or stored emotion and you are not afraid to go into it, you start to peel back the layers of avoidance that are created there. So pain has two elements to it: the primary pain, which is actually the physical pain that you're feeling, like the firing of the fibers that are painful. And then there's secondary pain, which is all of your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions about the pain. So there's the pain, like, ow, that hurts. Then there's like, oh, no, I have pain. What's that going to mean? Uh-oh, I'm going to be debilitated. How's this going to work? Oh, no. And then you start to spiral, and then you build up a tense relationship to the area of pain. You build up fear around that pain. You build up fear of doing anything because it might exacerbate the pain, which then tenses the muscles around it, which then causes more pain. And it can eventually become hardwired as a pain loop. And so as you have the courage to go into that, to reduce all of the friction and resistance that you're feeling to it, to accept what's going on there, to like peel back the layers of dialogue that you've created, all the secondary pain, and you just exist with the place where there might be something a little bit wrong that your body can heal, because bodies heal, you all of a sudden can start to undo that cycle. And the cycle of inflammation that's coming to the place of pain and turn it instead to healing that's coming to the place of soothing.
Yeah. So it's absolutely amazing. Yes. So I am, it was.
I'm not completely
really
sure that's what happened. That was a bunch of theorization.
Well,
but in general, that's the concept.
Yeah, but I just heard them say, that whenever you're feeling pain, whether it's physical pain or even emotional pain, instead of running from it, then just breathe into it. And that's basically what I started doing. I started breathing right into that, holding my breath and breathing right into that area. and then sooner or later the pain went away. Yes, it did. So anybody that's listening now, you've got the neuroscience, you've got, me sharing a personal story. So if you're not meditating, then you need to definitely start. So before we go on our first break, I want to ask Ariel to, talk about her product, Muse, and how it helps us to find the focus calm. Because, we're talking about one of the ways or one of the things that we want to do in meditation is to focus on something. But the purpose that you want to focus on your breath is so that you will, relieve stress and be calm. So I'm not sure if you touched that already, but did you want to expand on that a little bit, Ariel, before we go on our first break?
Yeah, sure. So what Muse is, it's a headband that has EEG and heart rate sensors inside of it that track your brain and your body during your meditation. So in the same way that a heart rate monitor will track your heart while you're at the gym and let you know when you're in the fat-burning zone and, when you're in the right zone, Muse tracks your brain during meditation to let you know when you're in focused attention, when your mind is wandering. And it actually lets you hear the sound of your mind. So it lets you know when you're focused, and it warns you when your mind has wandered off and then guides you back into that state of focused attention. And it does it using these really beautiful audio cues that you hear through your phone. So just in the same way a Fitbit connects with your phone, and that's where you see the data from your app on your phone when you check in, Muse connects with an app on your phone and gives you real-time feedback on your brain during meditation.
I'm wearing a Fitbit now, so I know.
Yep, so technology can really help with these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been tremendously useful for so many people. There's literally hundreds of thousands of people that use Muse regularly and who've learned to meditate with it. People who've been like, I don't know how to meditate, Muse has taught them. Or people who have an existing meditation practice, Muse has given them new insights into their mind while they meditate, really letting them know what the state of focus is and to make sure that they're there and doing it right. Because as meditators, what you're really doing is you're learning to observe your mind. You're building your metacognition, your ability to observe your own thoughts and then make choices around it. So when you're able to actually have that view into what your brain is doing when it's focused and when your mind is wandering, you're able to build an additional level of metacognition and then be able to enhance the way that you make choices in your own life.
So I was trying to focus on the anti-stress part. So does that go without saying that if you're focusing on your breath, you're going to be calm? Is that the
yes,
fallout?
There's two reasons. One is you're choosing to not follow your thoughts. So your thoughts are also often negative and repetitive. Like stress starts with a stressful thought, like, I'm going to be late. And then all of a sudden it falls out of it. So when you choose to not follow your thoughts, you're just staying on your breath, you become very calm. And then as you're focusing on your breathing and deep breathing, you're now telling your body to relax through these beautiful deep breaths.
Beautiful.
So it works in two different ways to help you find that calm.
Okay, awesome. All right, I just wanted to spell it out. Okay, perfect. All right, so yes, we are on to Rock and Start. And this is health. This is, a lot of things can be reversed in your life. Emotional pain, physical pain, a lot of things can be reversed if you are a meditator. So I'm glad that we are expanding your awareness of this. So we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the neuroscience of it. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We'll be right back. Flash Cosmetics. Picture the flash of your favorite stars. Then look like a movie star yourself. Flash Cosmetics aim to make you feel confident and comfortable about yourself. Try our instant beauty fixes, skincare, and makeup products today. Our top-of-the-line, fine-quality eyelash extensions will make a statement. Let your eyes show your inner beauty. Flash Cosmetics, sophistication, style, and beauty. Express yourself. Head over to flashcosmetics.com, which is FLASH COSMETICS.com. Be empowered, be comfortable, be classy. And get 5% off this month when you try our services. Flash Cosmetics. Empowerment, comfortable, classy.
20, 20, 20, 20. Toast up, toast up, toast up. Yeah. 20, 20, 20, 20. Toast up, toast up, toast up. Yeah. If you want to start 2020 off right, go ahead and take a peep at the hot new up-and-coming shoe line, Correlated. A line that is street and classy, urban, poetic, an extension of the DNA of the Bay and Kelly Cali statewide. The limited edition Correlated ones, the first design from the legendary new line, carries a unique colorway of snow white, cold gray, black, and candy pink that will draw attention anywhere. It'll have you shining like a diamond and keep your fit lit from every angle. So grab you a pair and start the new year off right. Go to aliveshoes.com/correlated. aliveshoes.com/correlated. Once again, it's aliveshoes.com/correlated. ALIVE shoes.com/CORREL, the number 8 TED. Correlated.com. God bless. Have a good day.
Hey you, listen up. Is the pain in your body so bad that you don't want to get out of bed? Are your skin conditions getting on your last nerve? Maybe you are so tired that getting up and answering that door feels like you just ran a marathon. If so, it's time for you to click on over to CBDAhealing.com. Yes, that's CBDAhealing.com, where we have certified hemp-based products and more that will help you get the fast relief and energy you need to start your day. We are GMP certified, GMO free, cruelty free, and made in a great US of A. But that's not all. We have a 60-day trial offer even if the bottle is empty. Yes, that's even if the bottle is empty. So head on over to CBDAhealing.com today. That's CBDAhealing.com.
If your business needs working capital to fund its growth, or maybe to get through a tight financial pitch, if traditional banks aren't the right fit for you, we may just have the funds you need. Our providers are going to look for cash flow more than your credit score, and we represent all the top alternative providers. So at us, one-stop shopping is the best option. Get cash for your business now. Short, no obligation application. Our providers have funded over $10 billion to thousands of small businesses. Visit www.davidallencapital.com/102-251-169. That is DAVIDALLENCapital.com/102-251-169. Or call Alexia at area code 202-445-0851 and get funding in as little as 3 days. Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind, Transform Your Life radio hour and podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach Marina Young, and today we are having a very interesting conversation with Ariel Garten, who is a psychotherapist, neuroscientist, and the founder of Muse. In our first segment, we dissected the benefits of meditation, how you meditate, and we went into some of the benefits of meditation. So as we start off the second segment, I wanted to ask Ariel, what is the neuroscience of meditation? We talked about, focused attention, and but what happens specifically in your brain, because I know you also talked about the light you love. One of the reasons you became a neuroscientist is that you love studying the brain and the waves and all that. So, expand our knowledge on the neuroscience of meditation, what happens in your brain.
Sure, happy to. So this is one of my favorite subjects because meditation has been demonstrated to make real change in your brain, like in the actual structure of your brain. It's quite amazing. Nice. There's an amazing study from Dr. Sarah Lazar. She's a researcher at Harvard, and she's shown that meditation can increase the thickness of your prefrontal cortex. So the prefrontal cortex is the area of your brain right under your forehead, and it's the part of your brain that's responsible for planning, organization, and higher order thinking. It's the thing that separates us from other animals, that we have this really developed prefrontal cortex. And as you age, your prefrontal cortex actually becomes thinner. But she was able to show that people with a long-term meditation practice were able to maintain the thickness of their prefrontal cortex even as they aged. So it's quite amazing. Meditation actually was able to, what looks like, reverse an aging process by maintaining your prefrontal cortex. So why is this important? Well, obviously we want the parts of our brain to be, strong and capable as we age. And particularly in meditation, what happens is your prefrontal cortex, which is can think about it as the parent. It's the wise adults that can look around and plan and organize and see reality. And it is able to change its relationship through meditation with your amygdala. So your amygdala is the part of your brain in the middle of the head that's responsible for that fight or flight response. When you see something dangerous, like a fire, your amygdala fires off and gives you that burst of energy to be able to manage whatever that terrible situation is. It's the thing that makes you feel frightened. It's the thing that makes you feel afraid. And so, our amygdalas are super helpful when there's real dangers like, fires. But in today's society, our amygdalas fire off when you have a colleague who you think looks at you the wrong way. It also fires and you're like, oh no, I'm scared, it's red. Right, or, there's a wrinkle in your pants at a meeting. You're like, oh no, it's red. Or somebody doesn't like your cooking. I feel terrible.
Like my sister. Firing off at everything. You're right. Yes.
Exactly. Not actually that useful. Mm-hmm. And so what you're able to do through a meditation process is actually strengthen the ability of your prefrontal cortex to now regulate your amygdala. So it's kind of like your prefrontal cortex is the parent and the amygdala is the little 3-year-old having a temper tantrum. And so as your amygdala is freaking out by whatever it's been triggered by, like your big sister saying something or somebody not liking your cooking, your prefrontal cortex can step in and say hey, actually, this is completely fine. Actually, there's not particularly anything wrong here. It's really okay. The wrinkle in our pants is fine. Nobody's noticing it. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. And so through your meditation process, you're strengthening your prefrontal cortex abilities to notice the thoughts that you're having. That's the metacognition that we're talking about. And then to be able to downregulate your amygdala and your body's emotional response to it. And you actually see this when you put meditators in a scanner. People who have a short-term meditation practice are shown to have less activation in their amygdala. People with long-term meditation practices have even been shown to have smaller amygdalas altogether. So we're really seeing in the brain these changes happening, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's yes. I was listening to a talk by Deepak Chopra again recently, and I think it's actually one of my next questions. But one of the things that I've learned about meditation as well is regarding the same fight or flight that you're talking about. Because if you're constantly in a fight or flight, there's so many things that happens in your body that's bad, like your blood pressure, your heart rate, and all these different things. And when you keep in that state, then of course that's where you get sick. And if you are meditating and you go into the relaxation response, then that's a totally different thing. So when I meditate, that's basically what I'm always gearing to get into that relaxation mode and to relax my body and relax. So that's basically my purpose when I meditate, is to to get into relaxation. So yeah. So but I like what you that's new information for me, that your prefrontal cortex is thickened by meditation, and that it helps to regulate you not flying off the handle as much. I mean, if you visualize a monk, you know that they're calm and nothing bothers them. So you can think that that's definitely what's going to happen if you become a meditator, and you're not letting every little thing bother you. But it's good to see the neuroscience of it. So you were saying something? Yeah.
Yes, it's actually making real change. Now, we're not going to become monks overnight. Meditation's a practice. It takes, It's like going to the gym. You can't all of a sudden lift your couch after going to the gym once. It's something that you have to do regularly. But as you do it, you start to see these small changes, and these small changes start to shift over time until you're at the point where you're at, Myrna, where you look around and you're like, oh, my life is different. I feel different. I'm not flying off the handle. I'm not bothered by things. It is just different.
Yeah. And of course, monks, they take 20 years to get to that point. So obviously we know that. And they do it all day long. I mean, we're talking here about, 15, 20 minutes of meditation maybe. Monks meditate all day long. So of course they're going to get to that state where, but I'm just saying that we know that, when you get to that stage that, you're floating on air and nothing bothers you. So we know that, we're not going to get there, but we know that that's definitely the benefit. So that's awesome. All right. Well, you mentioned a lot of things in the neuroscience there, and one of the things that I've been conscious of lately, and my my next show that I'm going to be recording is we're going to talk about the happiness formula. And one piece of the happiness formula is something that's called your set point. And your set point is your capacity for happiness. And apparently it is, of course, you'll know this more than I do. I'm just, listening to other people talk, but you know this as a neuroscientist. But your set point is set very early in life from your parents or your caretakers. And what Deepak was saying is that meditation can move that set point. So I thought it was interesting enough for us to include it in our conversation today. So can you touch on that? What's the neuroscience behind that statement? Because I love talking about the brain myself.
Sure. And actually the happiest man on earth, purportedly, is a meditator. He's a man named Mathieu Ricard, and he had his brain waves analyzed, and it was determined based on his brain activity that he was unbelievably happy. And with somebody who's happy, what you see is an increase in left frontal activity, so the frontal lobe, which we've been talking about, see a strong increase in left frontal EEG and a decrease in right frontal EEG. You can actually see in some ways what happiness looks like in the brain. Now, there's a lot of reasons why somebody is happy. One of the big ones is the absence of things that are frustrating or annoying you. So this exercise that we've talked about, being able to observe your thoughts, choose not to go into the negative thoughts, and choose where your mind is at, actually makes you happy because you're no longer spending the time in the negative ruminating place. And even the fact that you can make a choice about your own mind is incredibly empowering. We gain a sense of agency. And agency, like a feeling of control over your life, a feeling of control, makes us feel really good. It feels great when you're in control and you're not, subject to your environment or subject to your own thoughts.
Right.
And what monks say is that as you strip away all of the narrative, all of the dialogue, all of the garbage, what you're left with is a person who is pure joy. So, as we're built, our brains are built and wired, but we're also built by the stories that we hear about ourselves. And often we internalize stories like, I'm not good enough. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I wasn't loved by my parents. None of which are necessarily true. They're just the stories that we took on about ourselves.
Right.
And And as you begin to recognize that you can have control over your thoughts, typically the next thing that happens is you recognize that you are not your thoughts. And if you are not your thoughts, you are also not all of the stories about yourself that your thoughts have been telling you. And at some point, often with meditators, there's this unbelievable shift where you realize that, like, you know, the things that you learned about yourself in the grade 3 schoolyard as you were being picked on were just like, you know, just a perspective at that point in time. And you can let go of that perspective, too, in the same way as you let go of those negative thoughts. And that is unbelievably liberating. We don't have to be the stories that other people tell us about us. We don't have to be the stories that we tell us about us. We can just be. And that is such an unbelievable relief. And that is part of the way that you really get to just happiness.
Okay. Yeah, so that's true. I like that because, once you strip away the story and you strip away the story by you concentrating on, you know, who you are and why you're here and all those type of things, which is another version of meditation, finding out who you are, then the stories fall away and you are getting into your true self. I like that. But what I was really trying to get to was the set point of the happiness part. So let's say that our parents were negative people and we became negative. How does, I guess I'm answering my own question. So it's the same thing. So when you're meditating, then somehow you would release the negativity that your parents had and now you become positive? Is that how that works?
So our brains
I'm simplifying it, of course.
It's a grand simplification, but in
I know.
if you jump to the end, yes. So what happens is as you grow, your brain is wired in a particular way, and you have circuits. So you have, you know, to really simplify, you know, circuits for depression or circuits for anxiety or circuits for negativity. If you're used to having the same negative thought, like this sucks and I'm not good enough, that thought will literally be wired in your brain in a brain circuit. And that brain circuit will fire really easily and really quickly because it's used to being fired. And as you actively change your brain, as you actively say, no, I'm not going into that thought, I'm going to choose a different thought. I'm not going to go there again. Over time, that circuit begins to die away. The connections within that circuit are no longer maintained, and it's like a road. You know, the road begins to crumble in a road because nobody's driving and nobody's maintaining it anymore. And over time, you're building a different set of circuits, the set of circuits of being in the present moment so you're not lost in your thought, the set of circuits of thinking positively. That's why gratitude is so key, because it shifts your mind into a positive state, gets your positive neurochemistry going, good serotonin and dopamine. And as you're in that positive state, you are literally rewiring your brain. So we are not stuck in a negative brain if that's the world that you came from or parents you came from. It might make it harder. It might make it, you know, more habitual that you end up in that place, and it just means that you now have the opportunity to do the work to say, no, my brain's not going there anymore. I want to bring my brain into the present. I want to bring my brain into the positive. I want to bring my brain out of those thoughts, and you truly can change.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, listen, that is just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing that, you know, you can do that because, I mean, that will improve the quality of your life so much. So that is awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, well, let's take our second break now. And when we come back, we're going to dive a little deeper into how Muse works and how you can get a hold of this technology. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We'll be right back.
Every once in a while, something comes along that can change your life. Something fun and exciting. Introducing Travel 10. Travel 10 was created with one goal in mind, to create a subscription plan and income opportunity that you will want to be a part of and can afford. For just $10 a month, you can become a Travel 10 subscriber. This very small investment will give you access to the Travel 10 wholesale booking engine and daily shopping discounts at wholesale prices. That means you save a lot of money. Customers will get wholesale pricing and discounts on hotels and resorts worldwide, plus access to daily shopping discounts at restaurants, movie theaters, and more. And for just $20 a month, you can use this tool to make income for yourself as a travel and lifestyle advocate. This is the easiest and most exciting money-making opportunity around. Travel 10 also give away free $1,000 hotel and resort travel savings cards at no cost to you. This is what you have been looking for. To learn more, visit unlockthegift.org.
Motor Club of America is your friend on the road, offering you complete peace of mind for your family and your vehicle. Total security benefits cover you at work, at home, and even at play. Membership includes the following and much more. Unlimited emergency road service for your car, boat, RV, and trucks with 100-mile towing. Up to 500 emergency room benefit, up to $2,000 in attorney fees, $25,000 bail bonds when charged with vehicular manslaughter or auto-related negligent homicide, $150 daily hospital benefit, and $50,000 accidental death benefit. Many more benefits and fantastic services await you. This isn't insurance. This is road assurance. To find out more, head over to www.morethan4tows.com. That is MORETHAN4TOWS.com. And remember, when the unexpected happens, Motor Club of America have you covered. With the Strategic Funding Group, your personal loan don't have to be scary or jammed up with red tape. We are the only group getting people over $250,000 in cash consistently. The Strategic Funding Group has leveraged over 30-plus combined years helping clients get approved for loans. We approve you based on your credit report and scores, and you pay no upfront fees. Your approval odds are at its maximum when you fund with us. We provide a step-by-step process. If you can and are willing to read, then you can receive money. Cash money, that is, deposited in your bank account, not a stack of credit cards. To get started, email your name, number, or email address to info@strategicfunding.biz. Our process takes 1 to 10 days. You must be willing to follow simple directions and read our instructions. You also must have a credit score of 670 or better, or be willing to sign up for a credit monitoring service to discover your credit score. Want to make money from home? Need loan repayment assistance? We do that too. Again, email your contact info, including your name, phone number, and your email address to info@strategicfunding.biz, or you can visit us on the web at www.strategicfunding.biz and get your loan started. That is STRATEGICFUNDING.BIZ.
If you still need some great holiday gifts, or maybe you have a special anniversary or a momentous occasion coming up, WatchShopUs.com has great gift ideas for him and for her. Whether you need watches, jewelry such as bracelets, rings, necklaces, earrings, WatchShopUs.com has your back covered. You want the top-of-the-line products, the best name brands you can trust? WatchShopUs.com has it all. And if you need more than a reason to shop at WatchShopUs.com, check this out. For a limited time, you can save up to 20% off by using the promo code HOLIDAY20. You heard me right. Just by using the promo code HOLIDAY20, you can save up to 20% off. So don't be left out in the cold because you didn't get that special someone a really good gift. Shop with confidence and most importantly, shop with a peace of mind with WatchShopUs.com. That's WatchShopUs.com. One more time, WatchShopUs.com.
Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life at Radio Hour on Podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and today we are having a really great conversation with Ariel Garten. She is a psychotherapist, neuroscientist, and founder of the new technology Muse. And I don't know if you have been a meditator or you've heard about it, but I know that after listening to our conversation today, you want to jump and try it. And, you know, when you're meditating, you don't have to be like the monks that, you know, I talked about when you do it all day long. I mean, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm not sure how, Ariel, you can probably talk about how long, you know, is the recommended amount for Muse. But any amount of time, like Ariel was saying, helps to do something to your brain, your prefrontal cortex, your anxiety level, your amygdala, there's so many things health-wise, and you know, it can improve your life and it can lengthen your life. So it's something that you definitely need to get on board with. And if technology can help you do that, if you have an active brain, like most people do, then go ahead and let technology help you. So, Ariel, as we wrap up, let's talk a little bit more about your product, how they can get a hold of your product, your website, and anything else you want to talk about that we haven't discussed yet about Muse.
Sure. So Muse can be used with multiple people. So it's one little headband that you get, and you connect to an app on your phone. Typically when it comes into a household, like mom will start using it, dad will then steal it because even though he's never meditated before and thinks meditation's awful, this cool tech gadget is really nifty. And then all of a sudden dad starts sleeping better and like being less frustrated. It's really helpful. And then your teenage kids can start using it, and we find that as soon as one person gets it, everybody in the household starts meditating, and that becomes incredibly powerful. In terms of the amount of time to do it, there have been over 200 published studies using Muse, which is like unbelievable at this point. Mayo Clinic was using it with breast cancer patients awaiting surgery and showed that it improved their quality of life and decreased their stress. In the studies that we do, or that like places like Mayo Clinic and other hospitals and universities do using Muse, they typically use it for 10 minutes a day to 20 minutes a day, and they show effectiveness with that. But we tell people if you're new to meditation, you can start just at 3 minutes. Just start at 3 minutes, move it to 5. You can move it up to 10 eventually. So it doesn't really matter how long you do it for. The point is you start. And as you start and continue, you build your practice. And so it's
once a day or twice?
If you can do it twice, that's better. If you can only fit it in once, that's okay. Like, you know, the right time of the day to meditate is the time you're going to do it, because you basically just want to start building a habit, you know, in the same way that you brush your teeth or you eat dinner. It's just a thing that becomes a part of your life. And as you train with the Muse, the same way as when you go to the gym, you become stronger as you do it, and then that allows you to become more capable throughout your life when you don't have the device.
Awesome.
I should also let you know, that we have hundreds of guided meditations as well. So you have the mind, breath, and heart meditations. So you have exercises for different parts of your body. And then we have a section of guided content with hundreds of meditations for whatever you need at that moment. We say if you have a problem in your life, we have a meditation for that. Meditations for sleep, anxiety, happiness, performance, work. We have like a meditation to have a difficult conversation with your boss, a meditation if you're late for the bus and you're upset, meditation on finding morning joy. So if there's a thing you're like, I need it now, just go into your Muse Guided section, choose meditation. 5 minutes later, you get a new perspective on your life. And you're like, oh, okay, now I'm calm. Now I understand. Now I've shifted my brain out of that state I was in and into a state where I can just go forward and do whatever it is I need.
Wow. You should have been on earlier. Might have been able to get you some Christmas
It's a very popular gift. Like, my sister really needs it.
Yeah, it sounds like a great Christmas gift to me. Wow. Anyway, go ahead. So where can they get this?
I'm good. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on our own website, which is choosemuse.com. And, of course, you can find more on our website, choosemuse.com.
Yeah, when you were talking about find joy in the morning, I got a little jolt from that, so it's high energy on that, because that's amazing. Because depressed people don't have joy in the morning. So that's absolutely great that there's a meditation to, get them in that space. That's great. Yes. And not just
start retraining your brain out of that negative space. Or if you just wake up normally and you're like, I want to kick it up another couple of notches, start with morning joy. It's awesome.
Yeah, yes, I definitely, related to that one, because I know that a lot of depressed people, morning is very hard for them. So, I mean, once you're aware that, and you really actually do want to change that, because obviously you have to want to, then that is something that you can do to be proactive about it. So that's amazing. Awesome. All right, so choosemuse.com is where you can find Ariel's product, or on Amazon. And yes, I absolutely enjoyed talking to you. I have a personal question, though, that I'm just curious about. We have a few minutes. So they say that when you meditate that you should be sitting and crossing your legs so that you can have an energy flow or whatever, and that your spine should be straight. But a lot of times now I'm meditating in bed because I wake up early, and I find that I can just do some meditation, and sometimes I fall back asleep. So what's the difference between those two?
So you can meditate in any position that you want. It's you feel like a meditator when you're sitting there with your spine straight, and when you're doing that, your chest is open, your spine is straight, you feel a pose of confidence, and then that confidence translates into you. But if you can't do that, don't worry about it. You can sit on a chair, you can lie down in your bed. Lots of people meditate before they go to bed to help them fall asleep, and you just lie in bed. I do that too. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to know what's the science behind it, because they're saying that that's the best way to do it. Right. But okay.
So having a open and upright posture, like you're a mountain, then signals to your mind and your brain to increase your confidence, increase your feeling of being, strong and powerful and upright. But really don't worry about it. It's just one piece of, the many pieces of the meditation puzzle. And for a lot of people, it just seems intimidating to sit that way. So just start however you can.
However you can, right. Lying, sitting, yes, everything. Awesome. All right, well, listen, thanks for being with us until the end of the show. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to just remember also to support the advertisers who support the show. Definitely want to thank Ariel for expanding our mindset on the neuroscience of meditation and why we should do it. You're very welcome.
Totally my pleasure. And if you want to learn more, I have a podcast called Untangle, where we talk about the brain and how it works, and meditation, and tools and techniques that you can use to manage your brain and your mind.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm definitely going to put a link to that on our show page, so that, I can definitely tune into that as well. I do a lot of walking meditation myself, so maybe I can tune into your podcast when I'm walking and learn some things. Awesome. All right, so to read a transcript of my conversation with Ariel, you head over to blog.myhelps.us. And there you will also find links to Ariel's website, which is choosemuse.com, as well as her podcast, Untangle. Remember to subscribe to the Transform Your Mind podcast. We'd love to for you to post a review on iTunes as well. A podcast is available on all podcast players, including Stitcher, Castbox, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcast. Any last words, Ariel, before we wrap this up?
That we are all amazing, beautiful, capable creatures, and I just want everybody to absolutely know that whatever your mind tells you otherwise is just not true.
Yes, awesome. Yep, and that's basically why I call the show Transform Your Mind. It always starts with that. So one of the great things of our conversation today is that if your mind wants to lead you astray, there's a way to bring it back into, bring it back to the way that it should be. And I love the analogy that it's like a muscle that you have to practice and practice and practice, and so that you have more control over it. But just like how you build those big, nice, big biceps that you can see, then if you practice meditation, then you're going to be calmer, your relationships are going to be better, you're going to be healthier, and it's definitely the way to go. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I want to say namaste. I love you all, and until next time, bye.